Eve here. Hope all is well. Well, welcome to another live where we talk about all things well being and building a strong home economy from the soil up. For those of you who don't know me, let me reintroduce myself. I am Dr. Eve. I have 30 years of experience in corporate, healthcare, and academia. And in my days of entrepreneurship, I am strongly using those skills to address the concerns and problems related to health and well being. In so doing, we are addressing the basic essentials of human needs. And in so doing, we are also showing up to show you how to demonstrate what we expect from others while we also seek to have that same health and well being for our own lives. And so I am excited to be here as a researcher, as an educator, as a long time community advocate, and so I am super excited every day to always bring along my skills. And today we're talking about negotiating the contracts, right? Know your worth when you are negotiating the contract, right? So I've been in the middle of negotiations for a while now, and it's simply because so many companies are having cuts, so many cuts in the budget. But the one thing you can't truly cut is the necessary survival skills for humans to be able to thrive in society after being impacted by so many cuts in the workplace, cuts in budgets, cuts in income, cuts in just cuts everywhere. And one thing for sure and two things for certain, as a researcher and as a person who does the on hands work in the community, showing up and building food pantries and, growing food, building food pantries, raising livestock. It's not just about, just doing things. It's really about survival, right? It's really about survival. And so in my work as a leader in my community, my goal is to be the example that I expect from other people in my own family, right? So if I'm teaching families, then I need to also represent in my family to show you how I'm doing that in my home, in my family, to build a strong home economy in spite of what we are experiencing. So I'm negotiating a contract. When you are negotiating contracts, you have to know your worth. Now, there was a time when I was showing up every day, working 40 hours a week and W-2 employee, but I don't do that anymore, right? Hi there, Kamal. I don't do that anymore. I am a retired entrepreneur. I am retired from the workforce, but I am still a contracted entrepreneur. I'm doing well, thank you. And as a contracted entrepreneur, um, okay, I'm back. Don't know how it got stuck or what actually is happening. But when you are a contracted entrepreneur, you have to think about a few things. How are you showing, first of all, what is your worth, right? You have to think about your skill sets, what it is that you bring to the table, what and how much of what you do and how much of who you are is showing up in the work, in the contract, right? How much of you is showing up in the contract? So for me, showing up in this space is not only laborious, but it takes research, it takes time, money, and all those things are time. Time is money. You're studying right now? Okay. What are you studying? And so I'm negotiating what that's going to look like, and what does my time versus my fee, my time versus my fee, what's that going to look like for me, right? Because even in 1 hour, I'm still showing up as a researcher. I'm still showing up with science. I'm still showing up with how to. I'm still showing up with written matter. I'm still showing up with presenter skills. I'm still showing up as a speaker. I'm still showing up as a creator. I'm still showing up, right? So you have to think about that when you are developing your contract with potential businesses, right? And so for me, it's like, okay, how much of me can I give to what they're able to offer? So if the offering is not coming in at what what you are worth, you can negotiate the contract to meet the needs of the contractor in a way that you can still show up, but the hours may not, the hours will be more minimal because of the contracted, the dollars that are available. So what I am in the middle of doing is contracting what my next quarter will look like, because, you know, prior to contractual services, it was W-2. And as I'm not doing W-2, so I'm showing up as a contractor, the funding is less, but my hours are also less. That's the thing, because time is money and money is time, right? So you have to, negotiate in a way that your time is not still maxed out while while the funding isn't available there to support the way that you show up in the world to help people. Now, mind you, I do this as not just as a contractor, but I do this because I just love helping people. It's what I've always done for the last 30 years of my life, is to show up and to bring resources and the how to, and to get people started, and to really make a difference. Can you tell me in Hindi language? I am not Hindi. I speak English. It's the only thing I speak over here. You may wish to translate, okay? Thank you, though. I think you are able to translate English to Hindi, so help yourself. I don't know how to do that. But anyway, I wanted to just come here and share that with you all, because I'm breaking down a contract right now for next year. And it's literally 8 hours, 8 hours. Let's see, how's it going? I've got it down to, it's a per quarter contract. So per quarter renewable. So quarters 3 hours. So if it's quarters 3 hours and they have, then I break my time down. So I know what's available in that quarter based on my skill sets, and based on my natural requests, funding requests, fee requests. Thank you so much. My natural fee request is high. So if you can't pay that, then I can still provide, but I'm going to provide less hours. Eve Angel, what is your work? Basically, I'm an educator in health and human services. I'm an educator in health and human services. And right now, I'm a speaker, I'm a researcher, I'm a teacher, right? And I'm a practitioner, because most of all, practicing what we do is the best, right? How old are you? Um, Seasoned, very seasoned, okay? And so it's in the middle of negotiating this contract, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, well, what's wrong with my hand? Something's in my hand. How can I show up? How many hours? If they can't afford me, then how many hours can I give them for what they can afford, right? You stick to what you are able to do for what they're offering. It's your choice. You get to negotiate the contract, and you have to use your power of negotiation to do that, remembering that money is time, time is money, money is time. And so in my contract, this one contract that I'm working on is, I can't show up the way I used to. I can't show up in 40 hours. I can't show up in even 20 hours a week. I can't show up in none of that. I can show up by quarter. So if we're going to break this down by quarter and you have so much money per quarter, what is that equivalent to in hours, right? And that looks real different when you are negotiating the contract. So I have right now, one of the contracts that I'm working on is 26 hours per quarter. That's for 3 months. That's 3 months. If I am showing up 26 hours per quarter, 26 hours per quarter, that's 3 months out of the year. What is the equivalent of that based on the hours? First supply, then supply. Okay. Right? So 26 hours divided by 3 months is it basically is 8 hours per month, right? Now, you got to go deeper than that though, because if that's 8 hours per month, then what is that equivalent to per day? You got 30 days. You have 30 days in a month. So 8 hours divided by 30 is kind of like one. It's real small, y'all. So I don't even want to get into the days. I am now 8 hours per month. I break down how I'm going to show up in that month. How do I need to show up in that month to maximize the potential of meeting the needs of my contractor's audience, right? What do I do to meet the needs of my contractor's audience? So that's what I'm working on right now. Does that mean a blog? Does it mean a vlog? Does it mean practicing, how to, all of those things? Because we maximize and reach more people when we utilize the vlog or the video or the blog, because it keeps going, it keeps living. So that's what you have to ask yourself. I have a, blog. I blog, so I show up for that. I vlog here, so I show up for that. And believe it or not, I'm showing up in my authentic self as my content for a provider. For a provider. So you have to make sure, yes, I'm also a vlogger. Exactly. So you have to, and a researcher, most importantly, because with everything that's going on in today's society, as a PhD, my research lens is very critical because people are consuming a lot of information right now. And some of that information is not factual. So I'm always going to go back and say, okay, what does the evidence say? What does the research say about growing food? What does the research say about herbal medicine? What does it say about, the economy and the family and the struggle and the problem? What does the research say about these things? So when I come to vlog, I'm vlogging with my research lens. So that's number one. That sets me apart from, that's my unique value proposition when I show up in this space, because I'm not just doing a thing, but I am practicing based on the evidence, based on the research, right? So that's why when I show up in the space, or as it relates to my contract, they already know. How is she, why did we choose her? We chose her because she has a unique set of skills to do the work. And she has a unique set of skills that won't steer our people wrong. She has a unique set of skills for community engagement. She has a unique set of skills to look at the not just the micro level, the meso level, but the macro level of a thing, right? And so because that unique set of skills are there, it doesn't matter whether I show up 8 hours per month, because when I show up, I'm showing up with some rich content, right? As it relates to what does the evidence say, right? So I'm in the middle of negotiating for next year, and I'm not taking on a lot. I'm not taking on a lot because why? I am an entrepreneur who wants to be retired, wants to be free, wants to be flexible, wants to have a life. I'm a senior citizen. So, how to make a change in our lives, in our lives, be good with good habits. Yes, well, not just good habits, but very good habits. Habits, it takes people 21 days to form, of consistency to develop a new habit, right? So I say this, like, for example, if you are working on, you want to do better about cardio, exercising your heart. And you might say, okay, you want to condition your heart. And so in the conditioning of your heart, you want to start walking or whatever that is for you that's going to give you cardio, because the heart depends on the activity, our activity, right? And so now I'm not a medical doctor. I am a PhD. I am a scientist. So we teach MDs, we don't practice medicine. We research about medicine and health and well-being, and we teach those who are becoming doctors, okay? So let's be clear about where I am, my role versus an MD, okay? And people fail to realize where we fall on the totem pole, because the PhD, even if you are MD, you're not at terminal degree. Your terminal degree status is PhD. For those of us who've already achieved PhD, we are available to teach within our scope of practice, to teach MDs the things that they need to know, as they are practicing, even if it's nothing but how to have good bedside manners, right? You see? So make sure that you understand, and the point of this video was very, very simple. While I'm working on this contract, I said, well, let me go talk to the people. The most important thing is know your worth when you are negotiating a contract, no matter what that is. So 8 hours per day, 8 hours per month, 8 hours per month for this next up and coming contract. 26 hours for 3 months. That's all I'm giving. But I'm going to give more. Y'all know I'll be giving more. I come every day and live stream. That's more than 8 hours. But I'm only committing to 8 hours in the contract, because it's very important that you spell it out so that no one gets it wrong, right? All right. So anyway, and make sure that if you are a contractor and you're contracting with someone, you also must have a legitimate business plan, right? I've been in business since 2001 as a nonprofit, but I'm also a for-profit business owner. My name, as you can see here, is Dr. Eve Angel H. Savage, but it's an LLC, right? It's not just a channel where I do live stream. It's literally a business. So if you are not operating in your full capacity, then or have not yet owned who you are and the skills that you bring to the table, then you are limiting your ability to operate as a business and get the benefit of those tax write-offs. For example, this channel is a vlogging, and we talk about a lot of things because I'm a signature. My name is a signature, right? But the things I do here, they vary, but so do I, right? So when I show up here, I show up as a business. So I'm not showing up in ways that I'm showing up in ways that are going to, um, with integrity, with um, business sense, right? To make sure that I am in alignment with what I am called to do, right? Making not just myself proud, but my Father in heaven proud, right? Speak your mind where it is valued. Absolutely, right? You want to make sure that you are also in the right place. You are absolutely correct. So I'm showing up as a speaker, an advocate, a practitioner, a researcher, for all of those things, a author because I write books, so but all of those things led me to where I am today. So nothing shall be wasted in your life. You can use them all, but make sure that if you're showing up here on this channel, if you're showing up here, make sure even as a creator, if you are a content creator, you need to have a business infrastructure. You need to have a business infrastructure. If that is you and you desire to learn more about how to get started, because it is the most beautiful thing to have the right infrastructure to get all the benefits. Because even in my contract, I negotiate travel and accommodations. Like, let me just give you an idea of what that looks like. So you have your honorarium, your fees, and cancellation policy, right? You may ask for a retainer up front, right? Because why? You don't take on contracts without making a person commit to it, right? Commit to the work. And then if it cancels by any chance, you don't get that retainer back. Because what happens is when I commit to you, I face potential loss of income, right? So you want to make sure that you're negotiating your honorarium, your fees, and your cancellation policies. The next area is going to be your travel and accommodation, because for some of us, we do have to travel. We are in the community. Some work can happen right here, but some work may happen in a conference presentation, right? It may happen on a speaker platform somewhere. It may happen in a number of ways. How are you going to pay for your travel? That doesn't make sense. If you are negotiating as a contractor, you should also have a standard with travel and accommodation clauses integrated in your policies. For example, your travel, like your meals per diem, your transportation. Who's going to pay for that, right? Is it going to be yours or is it going to be in addition to? You have to clearly state that. So in my contract, I say in accommodations for meals and ground transportation will be in addition to whatever hours and months stated above. I want to be clear in the contract that this is in addition to, right? Then next you want to say, okay, how about lodging? Are you going to be reimbursed for travel and lodging? For who? You and one of your staff, or is it just you alone? Well, oftentimes I travel two or more. So I want to say up to two, because there may be another party traveling with me who happens to be either someone who is a sub with me and or an assistant, right? Because we have set up, we have, as an author, as a speaker, as a researcher, as a writer, as all these things. These are things that I can negotiate in my contract, especially if they don't have enough money to pay me. Just remember that sometimes these agencies don't have enough to pay you, but there is a benefit still yet, and it's called support materials and things like that. How can they help you versus travel? How can they help you um, to get the word out further about the work that you do through your books, through your materials, through your all the things, and make sure that it's copyrighted, because they give them, make sure the contracts, specifies you can use these materials, but only with my permission, right? So you negotiate down to the final wire. You don't leave one place you don't leave it undone, because if you do, then that leaves room for the contractor or the provider. No, I'm the provider, but the agency, you leave room for the agency to build in things. You want to be very, very specific, not to leave room for assumptions. We don't assume. We spell it out, right? So that's what I wanted to come here and share with you all, that, know your worth when you are negotiating these contracts. Even the contracts with your, your contractors with retail, your contractors with companies that want you to share their products. You want to have in place the right kind of contract. How often will you show up? Whose material will it be? All the things. We don't work for free. We do as entrepreneurs. When you were going into work, that's someone's business. They did not pay you to come to work for free. They paid you, and then they expected you to work, right? So there's an expectation also, because now you are the employee, you are the employer. If you are a business and you are negotiating contracts as an entrepreneur, you are the business. And you have to make sure that your contracts don't have a whole lot of risk for people to assume, okay? Anyway, just wanted to drop in with a quick vlog to share with you all. I am Dr. Eve, and here on my channel, we talk about all things living well, redefining well-being as the highest form of equity in practice, in community, in advocacy, in family. But it starts at the micro level with you and me, okay? I am super excited to share with you all the wisdom and knowledge that I've gained over the years. And I hope that this information helped you. And if it did, please subscribe, like, and share the information for someone else.